No game in history of college football has lasted to 9 overtimes. This season keeps getting crazier. A top 10 team collapses. Kansas was up against OU at halftime. They lost. Not Rutgers, pardon me. Northwestern was keeping it close with Michigan. Keeping it very close at halftime. They lost. Penn State, I was thinking, Michigan and Penn State should pull out, but, Michigan's handling the better opponent here, and I was wrong on the former. Northwestern is definitely better than Illinois. Northwestern can actually pass the ball. They can pass. They can run, along with Illinois, but they can pass. They're not one-dimensional. This game was disgusting. I, by now, if this game ended, would have made my Michigan reaction. But this game is the bigger upset. This is the thing. This wasn't normal. So in my world, I have to talk about this first. It dragged me so long through 9 overtimes of James Franklin and Penn State being so inept with the talent they have. I mean, you have 4 stars and some 5 stars and higher level 3 stars. Illinois has none of that. Illinois at best has a few super seniors. And for those who say, those super seniors, they mean a lot. Well, they do. It's not an excuse. Illinois this year has got blown up by Virginia. They lost to UTSA. They got shut out by Wisconsin, who at the time of that game was 1-3 before winning. And they've blown plenty of other games as well, including losing to a Purdue team who is currently struggling with Wisconsin. Illinois is a heartbeat away from dying. That's what Illinois is. And yet, they outgained you 395 to 227 in total yards. Illinois gifted Penn State the ball 3 times. A pick, 2 fumbles that were disastrous. I mean, Arthur Satowski has little to no pocket presence. He just doesn't have it. He's better than Peters. Peters, you give him the ball, you know that he's going to throw it into the bench. It's ridiculous. Illinois had nearly double the first downs that Penn State did, 27-14. Illinois had 36 minutes of time of possession compared to Penn State's 23. And this is funny. This is hysterical. Illinois had 67 rushing attempts and 21 pass attempts. And still, you knew what was coming if you were Penn State. Illinois rushed for 5.3 yards a carry. And, this is just, 9 overtimes, all the 2-point conversions, but 3 of them were disastrous failures. Noah Kane on the original one could have just stretched out his arms. I couldn't get the exact angle, and maybe he couldn't, but still, could have just stretched out his arms, would have been in. Oh, by the way, Illinois also, despite having a one-dimensional offense, converted 50% of their third downs. Penn State didn't even convert 25%. Penn State averaged 2.1 yards per rush on the ground, 4.9 yards per pass. They also had more penalties, and they converted a 4th down. That's just like the one positive fact. Clifford looks banged up. Absolutely banged up. Now, I tell you what, I don't know if Ohio State will play defensively as good of a game as Penn State will. But let me tell you something. Ohio State, assuming some things are held constant and Penn State doesn't dramatically improve, they're going to rush for 6 to 7 yards a carry on you, and they're going to have, my goodness, they're going to have their average passing yards number, maybe a little less, and they're going to dominate the ground game. And your offense still can't run the football. Sean Clifford, I'm a Michigan fan here. Sean Clifford looked like Cade McNamara. He had little to no mobility. He was inaccurate and inconsistent at times. And I'm not even ripping Sean Clifford either. It wasn't his fault that he got injured. It's not his fault that he's hurting. He is trying to do everything he can. Sean Clifford is, as a Michigan fan, one of the few people I love on Penn State's team. He is a fighter, and he's great. I mean, he should get a try in the NFL. I think that he will, at least should get drafted in probably one of the lower rounds, but still get drafted. And there's one other thing, though. He is this offense. This offense without him is nothing. 10 points in regulation to an Illinois team that allowed 24 to Wisconsin, to an Illinois team that allowed 42 to Virginia. It's absolutely abysmal. And, I don't know everything. I'm not some kind of expert. You couldn't sit me down through 60 minutes of film and I would not get everything right. But this game was atrocious. I mean, Illinois had 38 passing yards and they only completed it, oh my gosh, barely over. Less than 40% of their passes were complete. No passing touchdowns, one pick. The one passing touchdown was called back because of OPI, so some lack of discipline in the passing game from the quarterbacks, the receivers, from everyone. This game is, if you're a Penn State fan, it's miserable. If you're everyone else, it depends. I mean, this is college football rebirthed after 2020. This is totally the 2007 season. This stuff doesn't happen in 19, 18, whatever. This was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Penn State now 5-2, 2-2 in conference, and unless they win out, conference championship hopes are basically neutered. Playoff hopes are, killed and thrown into a dumpster fire. And at this point, you just kind of have to hope that Drew Allar, who is now the number 1 QB in the 2022 recruiting class, can get you somewhere. And that's really all I have to say. That's all I have to say. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and comment your thoughts down below. What did you think about this game? This game to me was exciting, but also boring and frustrating. Illinois, they ran it very well. And it kind of sounds like in this video that I am ripping on Penn State a little bit. And I am. You should not have lost this game. Illinois they don't have the talent you do. They're not at home. You had a crowd. They zoomed out. The camera people zoomed out, and Beaver Stadium was still full. Your fans eagerly waiting for you to finally pull out and get the win. Couldn't do it. So let me know what you think of this game down in the comment sections below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you around.